Good afternoon, Nick Weig here with you as we are monitoring new developments in the streetcar project here in Omaha. The Streetcar Impact Alliance just wrapped up a meeting with Mayor Ewing here in Omaha, and the mayor is about to speak to the media gathered there about their discussion. And we'll take you out live now here in just a moment as the mayor is getting ready to speak. They're just checking microphones right now, making sure they get everything ready here. As you see the assorted array of microphones there on the podium, and I believe we are ready to go now. Here now is Mayor Ewing.
Ready now. Okay. Good afternoon. First, let me say we understand the impact of the current utility and infrastructure work on adjacent businesses, residents, and visitors along the streetcar route. The work underway is the largest reconstruction and relocation of 100-year-old plus utilities in Omaha history. It involves replacing water lines installed in the 1880s, relining sewers of a similar age, upgrading gas lines, and increasing the capacity of electrical and telecom systems to support future development work. There's no doubt there is an impact and disruption given this kind of deep work. The idea behind the decision to do it all at once was to prevent future disruption and be as efficient as possible with the streetcar. The city is limited in offering financial relief to businesses and continues to look for other possible revenue sources. But any relief, if it is found, is going to take some time. The best help for these businesses has to come from customers right now patronizing their establishments. This is where the city can step up its efforts. I have asked our streetcar partners to do the following: improve safety immediately with dedicated staff checking safety across the corridor, improve cleanliness with contractors reminded about their duty to leave work sites using the best housekeeping possible even in a construction zone, improving parking. We will be providing parking for $1 a day at garages for route business employees and customers. Improving communications. We are actively working on several fronts. Text message notifications about construction stops and starts. The city commits to continued updates of digital wayfinding through Google, Apple Maps, and Waze, which are updated on a daily basis on lane or road closures. A marketing and ad campaign to guide Omahans to get where they want to in Midtown and downtown, as well as Blackstone and other businesses. The best thing Omahans can do right now to support these businesses is understand that you can get there. That you can get there using Google, Apple Maps, and Waze in some parking garages, including in Blackstone and Midtown Crossing. The first 2 hours of parking are free. Elsewhere along the route, you can garage park for as little as $1. We are in the thick of the heaviest construction, but conditions will improve later this spring as utility work moves west of 18th Street and part of the now closed Turner Boulevard and Farnham intersection reopens. Our construction schedules are running ahead of schedule, and we believe we're on track to be able to open these routes sooner than expected. We have accelerated the utility work to help move the construction timelines up. The main line work, unlike utility work, will be less disruptive. more predictable, and easier to navigate. We will get through this together, but we do need the help of the people of Omaha in patronizing these establishments so they can survive this construction and be able to thrive once the streetcar is done. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you might have.
When did you guys first decide that you were going to do this program? Why is it going to take 4 to 6 weeks to lay out?
We have been looking at this program for some time. What we have to do is make sure we do it right. So I'm leaving that up to the experts, and that is the timeline that they are giving us in order to make sure that we do it correctly. If we put things out there that aren't helpful, then we're not helping to solve the problem.
When you say sometime, what do you mean? Months, weeks?
I think you just asked if it was going to take 4 to 6 weeks, right?
But how long have you guys been, like you said, you've been thinking about this for some time.
We've been talking to the Streetcar Alliance, obviously, but we've also been looking at our communication since I became mayor. And so we have continued to always look at how we revamp things and how we do things differently. That's the mark of this administration. We're always going to be looking to get better.
When did you guys first start thinking about the $1 parking?
Oh, the $1 parking was just in the last couple days.
How has the idea been received by the Streetcar Alliance?
I don't know. They're still in their meeting. I have other things on my agenda today that are critically important to this city as well. And so I have to be somewhere at 3 o'clock to celebrate a very important event in South Omaha.
Were you able to meet with them briefly?
I met with them briefly and explained what we're trying to do and the fact that we are looking to see how we can potentially support them as long as they understand that we cannot provide city dollars to private businesses. But we are looking at potential partners that may be interested in helping us. We just don't know if they will or not.
So the $1 in this, and that's just for the city garages?
Yes.
So which garage, are they all the city garages in downtown, or just specific ones that will
I
be-
believe they have specific ones, and they can get you the information on all of those. I don't have that readily available. It may be in the press release that they gave you.
You mentioned that this is the thick of it. This is some of the worst that we're going to see with the construction ongoing
Yes.
right now. How long until we get through this phase of construction to that, what you called less disruptive
Sure.
main line?
So one of the things I want to make sure people understand is I get timelines, and then I tell people that's not soon enough. So I will tell you that some of these things were scheduled to finish up in December. And I can tell you that's not going to happen. That is going to be significantly faster than that. I can't give you a specific date because I don't want to ever tell people anything that's not true. But it should be several months sooner than December.
Are there any specific reasons as to why things are moving ahead of schedule for construction?
I don't want to take a lot of credit, but I will say at least part of it is that I have directed them to look at how we can get this done sooner to lessen the impact on businesses, just like last winter when we were looking at closing Farnham and tearing the bridge down. I told them we were not going to do that until after December because I'm always looking at the impact that this has on businesses. So I look at it more from a customer service aspect of it, maybe than normal construction.
Is there a reason as to why the city can't provide private businesses with any sort of financial compensation?
My understanding, having talked to the city attorney a number of times, is that it is illegal from a state statute standpoint.
You mentioned these potential alternative funding sources. Who have those conversations been with, and how have they?
I can't reveal that at this point because I don't want to damage those relationships if for some reason they decide not to.
Can you share if that's nonprofit world, if that's corporations? Are you able to say?
I would say that it is in the philanthropic arena.
We have time for one more question.
Mayor Ewing, And this, might not even be related to the streetcar, but I understand that there was a situation yesterday. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about it if you want to.
Sure.
If you want to kind of dive into what you saw.
Sure. So yesterday morning, we were coming to the downtown office, and we saw a couple vehicles stopped in traffic. As we saw those vehicles stopped in traffic, myself and my security staff yesterday, Fred James, and I began to look around, and he saw that there was a vehicle on fire. So I told Fred to pull into the parking lot because we saw an individual that was trying to get back into the vehicle. We weren't sure if in fact there was someone in the vehicle. So we got out. I began to talk to that individual. Fred James then ran to Walgreens because it was in their parking lot to get a fire extinguisher. The gentleman was very upset and really wasn't clear. And so we talked to some of the other people who had stopped as well, who assured us that there was no one in the car, that he was just trying to get items out of the vehicle. We encouraged him to stay away from the vehicle. We finally were able to do that as fire personnel were arriving as well as law enforcement, and we kept him away from the vehicle. At that time, as fire arrived, we heard a small explosion. I don't know if that was like the airbag because of all the heat or if that was actually tires or what it was, but we just wanted to make sure he and any of the other people around that area were safe.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And that was Mayor Ewing wrapping up his comments after speaking with the Streetcar Impact Alliance about their concerns about parking downtown with all of the construction that's going on. He did provide a little bit of information there to us about what they're hoping to accomplish. He admitted that they believe state statute does not allow the city to directly provide financial help to impacted businesses because of all of the construction. He says that along with guidance from the city attorney, they are looking at ways to find ways that they can help area businesses. But again, he stressed that the best way to help those businesses is going to come from customers. He again highlighted efforts to kind of reduce the costs of parking in the area. And did say that construction is ahead of schedule and that they have kind of modified the schedule in order to get the most disruptive portions, the underground infrastructure, electrical work done sooner rather than later. He feels that that will cause some serious improvement later this spring, is what he said. That utility work is being sped up, and they've delayed other portions of the project until later that may not have as significant impacts. We are standing by now for the Streetcar Impact Alliance to tell us their side of the story. The mayor said they're actually, in fact, still in that meeting. He had to step out to attend another event coming up here at the top of the hour. But obviously, city officials may be in there still working out some finer details with the alliance to try and address the concerns of businesses that are really being financially impacted by the ongoing long-term construction. Again, the mayor stressed they really need help from customers to support these businesses. He also stressed that they are making sure that there are ways to be notified about any changes in construction or traffic flows as a result, and that said that daily information is being fed into all of the mapping software, whether you use Google Maps, Apple, or Waze, or any others, to make sure that all of that is as up-to-date as possible, so if you try to route yourself to one of these businesses, you are going to get accurate information. But again, the mayor admitted that there's only so much that they can do from a city standpoint because according to what he said he was told by the city attorney, they cannot provide direct financial assistance to the businesses because that would violate state law. So again, the mayor putting out the plea again for people to continue to patronize these businesses and support them in this difficult time as they've lost their foot traffic and did stress again, all of these businesses are accessible. It just may not be as easy as normal, obviously, because of all of the construction here in the area. Again, we are standing by right now. We do have a live picture from our other crew on the scene as they are standing by for the Streetcar Impact Alliance to speak. But again, we don't know what time that will be taking place because at last report, according to the mayor, they were still meeting with other city officials to presumably work out maybe some other options that could help alleviate the stress on these businesses and make it easier for people to get downtown to support them. Again, this has been a long, ongoing issue here as part of this project. A group of more than 100 Blackstone-area businesses and business owners have created this alliance, saying that this is hurting their bottom line and they need more help from the city to support them. Again, the mayor said financially that's something they legally cannot do. This alliance was formed in response to construction disruptions in the neighborhood. If you've been down here in the Blackstone area, you know those barricades and road closed signs are just about everywhere. Excuse me, making access much more difficult for both customers and then the businesses and their employees. We've talked to several businesses that have stressed that it's not only difficult for restaurants but other businesses. For instance, we spoke to the manager of the Long Dog Fat Cat Pet Store, and they talk about how with all of these narrow entryways, it's really hard if you have a large animal to walk such a long distance to their store and use their services. And a lot of owners say that they're really struggling to keep their head financially above the surface right now. So that is why this alliance was formed, to basically strengthen numbers, bring their concerns to the city, and demand any action that they can provide. Now, as promised, the mayor did meet with the alliance today, and they are working to find ways to not only help, but to also remind potential customers in the area how they can access these businesses, and also the fact that they're all accessible and that the information in those smartphone and GPS mapping services are updated daily as the construction changes. Now, this meeting had been on the books for a couple of weeks now as business owners were organizing to combat this. But again, this has been a long situation for the downtown area here in the Blackstone area. This is now the meetings have been both informational and an opportunity for both sides to ask questions and hopefully get some solutions. And you know, obviously we heard what the mayor had to say, but he's not in the entire meeting, so we will be curious to see here what the Streetcar Impact Alliance may have to say. But again, we don't know how long that meeting is going to continue on. We are standing by with another crew downtown to get their side of the story and what may be happening after this meeting. But again, the mayor stressing that there's only so much that the city can do financially to help these businesses. The help really has to come from the customers. They really need to make sure that they unfortunately have to make a bit of an added effort both in driving and walking to get to these businesses in order to make sure that they can stay afloat financially. So one option that he did stress, we reported on this earlier, that Park Omaha is now charging $1 per session to park in certain city garages in this area. This is in an attempt to get more traffic down to these businesses. Members of the public traveling to the corridor to visit bars, restaurants, retail establishments, or other destinations will be able to take advantage of this discounted rate in a third garage when there is not a parking event rate in place. Now, this applies to the parking garages at 1516 Douglas Street from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. on weekdays and all day on weekends, and then at 899 Farnham Street from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays. So this is one of the efforts. This $1 city parking applies to customers and then, of course, also employees that have to get downtown to work these shifts. But again, this was one of the efforts that the city was trying to make to indirectly support businesses within the law that they could do. But again, it's still a struggle for them because obviously it's a major hassle for customers and employees alike to try and get to these places, and that just compounds things. There you see our crew outside standing by for the Streetcar Impact Alliance to come out of that meeting. We don't know how long that meeting will continue, but we are expecting to hear from the group afterwards. We're told we'll hear from the chair of the group, Clark Ross, as well as we may also hear from member Katie Mock about what they heard and essentially how they feel after meeting with the city and the mayor on this ongoing issue. Again, we are standing by for the Streetcar Impact Alliance to come out and tell their side of today's meeting. But again, all of this has to do with this massive undertaking, the streetcar project here, that has really uprooted some of these major thoroughfares through downtown. And that is what has led dozens of, in fact, more than 100 Blackstone-area business owners to create this alliance to unite in their pleas to the city to help them before far too many of them are forced to close their doors for good. So we are going to stand by. I'm going to go ahead and leave the live picture you see up here. Again, we're standing by to hear from the Streetcar Impact Alliance, and I will leave this picture up while we're standing by to hear from them here in just a moment. Nick Weig here with you again at the alert desk. We are standing by. We brought you moments ago a live look at the mayor's comments after meeting with the Streetcar Impact Alliance. That meeting did continue after the mayor stepped out with city officials. We are standing by with our crew there to hear the Alliance's side of how the meeting went and what, if anything, they heard that they liked or that they didn't like in efforts to try and help these businesses severely impacted by the streetcar project here in Omaha. Mayor Ewing again stressing that there is very little financially they can do legally directly from the city to these businesses, but they have tried to make it cheaper in that area for people and employees to park in area ramps, and they're also encouraging the public to continue to visit these businesses, even if it might be a little more difficult. He stressed the city is ahead of schedule on the project, and they are accelerating portions of the project that have the most disruptions with them, and they hope to see significant improvement later this spring. That was the most finite timeline he would provide to us right now, and also that that they are ensuring that there are notifications going out about construction, routing changes, as well as daily updates to mapping services like Google and Apple and Waze and others to make sure that people looking for the best route to these businesses are going to get it as the construction and the traffic flows change as that construction advances. So that was what the mayor was able to tell us. We know the meeting was continuing on. We have seen a number of people filing out. Not sure if that's an indicator that the meeting is now over, but we are standing by to hear from members of the Streetcar Impact Alliance outside here after that meeting wrapped up. If it's wrapped up, we don't know yet if it has, but again, we have seen a number of people walking out, unclear if that's a sign that the meeting has ended. So we're going to continue to stand by here, and as soon as we do see the Alliance ready to go, we will bring that to you. For now, we'll go ahead and leave the picture up here and stand by for them to arrive.
Andrew, are you following me? How are you? What are you guys waiting on? My friend Steve. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Well, we just spoke to the mayor a little bit ago. It's just about I'm not sure. Yeah.
Are they here for Jared again? You here for Jared again? This guy's always on the freaking news.
He's always done a great job, so we love talking to him. Good to see you, man. It's all right.
Nick Weig here with you again. Just wanted to let you know we're still standing by for the Streetcar Impact Alliance, set to speak after their meeting with the mayor and city officials regarding the parking issues as part of the streetcar project here downtown. The mayor spoke just about 45 minutes ago to talk about what he felt came out of the meeting. He did stress again, legally, the city does not believe it can financially support these businesses. They've already announced plans including $1 a day for specific parking ramps to help both customers and employees pay for parking near these businesses. He also stressed that the utility work, which is the most impactful and the most restrictive in terms of the construction, has been accelerated to try and help these businesses. He hopes that there will be significant improvements in traffic flow later this spring. But he said ultimately the help has got to come from customers, and unfortunately in many cases, as we've talked to businesses, that involves the long walks from their cars or possibly difficult narrow routes to traverse, especially if they have large animals or large items. So again, this meeting has been going on. It may be wrapping up. We're not sure yet because the mayor did step out early to attend another thing on his schedule, but did speak to the media before leaving, and we do expect to hear from the head of the Streetcar Impact Alliance once they wrap up the meeting and come out and to let us know how they felt things went and what they may have worked out. Obviously, the mayor didn't stay for the entire meeting, but other city officials presumably were there, and we may get more fine-tuned details on what may or may not the city will be able to do to help both these businesses and their customers as this construction continues. But again, the mayor did say they're trying to make sure that daily updates are going out to mapping software like Google and Apple Maps, as well as Waze and others, to make sure that all of the routes are correct when people are trying to find detours to the businesses they're trying to reach, and that they are also working on improving notification systems for when construction routes change, sometimes on a daily basis, depending on what's going on. But otherwise, he said really what the city can do is prioritize the work so that the most impactful construction is underway now and will be done sooner rather than later. He said they've accelerated that work, primarily the utility work, whereas other work that will be less impactful has been pushed back so they can get this done as quickly as possible and get some routes at least partially reopened to the public and these businesses. But again, he did stress all of these businesses are accessible. It's just the struggle for many to get to these businesses has proven to be too much, and the impact on these businesses' bottom line is at risk of putting several of them out of business. And that is why more than 100 business owners have formed this Streetcar Impact Alliance to unify their message to the city and try and get help wherever they can. So again, we're standing by for that meeting to wrap up and for the leaders of the Alliance to come out. And as soon as they come out, we will bring you their take on what happened here on our live stream. Again, this is Nick Weig at the First Alert Center desk, and we are awaiting them to come out and let us know how they felt things went after their meeting with Mayor Ewing and city leaders. We'll go ahead and stand by, and when that happens, we will bring that to you.
MTV is now part of Fox 42. I'm pretty sure.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Nick Weig still here with you as we're standing by waiting to hear from the Streetcar Impact Alliance after meeting with the mayor and city leaders here in Omaha about their ongoing struggles with the major construction project that is impacting dozens of businesses and threatening to put many of them out of business. The mayor spoke to us a short time ago after leaving the meeting early. We're not sure whether or not the meeting has wrapped up yet, but again, we're standing by for members of that alliance to let us know how they feel coming out of that meeting, which I believe had been on the books for about 2 weeks, and the efforts that the mayor and the city says that they're able to accomplish to try and help keep these businesses afloat. One thing the mayor did stress is, according to the city attorney, state law does prohibit them from directly financially benefiting these businesses, and so they're looking for alternative ways to help them. But again, stressed, ultimately it is up to customers to whether the extra foot walking or the detours or the other hassles that come with trying to reach these businesses with all of the construction going on. Again, we continue to stand by for them to come out of the meeting with city officials. But about a little less than an hour ago, we did hear from Mayor Ewing, who told us what he took coming out of that meeting. Let's take a look.
Yesterday morning, we were coming to the downtown office, and we saw a couple vehicles stopped in traffic. As we saw those vehicles stopped in traffic, myself and my security staff yesterday, Fred James, and I began to look around, and he saw that there was a vehicle on fire. So I told Fred to pull into the parking lot because we saw an individual that was trying to get back into the vehicle. We weren't sure if, in fact, there was someone in the vehicle. So we got out. I began to talk to that individual. Fred James then ran to Walgreens because it was in their parking lot to get a fire extinguisher. The gentleman was very upset and really wasn't clear. And so we talked to some of the other people who had stopped as well, who assured us that there was no one in the car, that he was just trying to get items out of the vehicle. We encouraged him to stay away from the vehicle. We finally were able to do that as fire personnel were arriving, as well as law enforcement. and we kept him away from the vehicle. At that time, as fire arrived, we heard a small explosion. I don't know if that was like the airbag because of all the heat or if that was actually tires or what it was. But we just wanted to make sure he and any of the other people around that area were safe.
That was Mayor Ewing a short time ago after a meeting with the Streetcar Impact Alliance, actually speaking about an incident yesterday in which he and another member of his staff actually helped prevent somebody from going back into their car, which had caught fire in a parking lot, and was explaining what actually happened and what they heard and saw while that was going on. The mayor also, after speaking with the Alliance, said that they're trying to make sure that all mapping software is updated on a daily basis, so people using mapping software know exactly where to go when they're trying to get to these businesses, that they're accelerating utility work, which is the most impactful on the routes in the construction area, to get that done as soon as possible. They hope to see significant improvement in that later this spring, is what he would tell us. We don't know if we're going to get additional details from the Alliance, who are still meeting with city officials, as far as we know. But again, this has been a long time coming, as the Alliance was formed by more than 100 business owners in the impacted area, saying that they are struggling to stay afloat because of all of the construction associated with the streetcar project. The city says it's doing what it can. They've announced $1 a day parking in a pair of parking garages nearby, both for customers and employees, to try and alleviate costs with the unusual routes that they have to take in order to work and to visit these businesses and restaurants. And also, again, as we said, they're trying to get the most impactful portions of the project done now, and less impactful projects put off until later, to try and alleviate some of this as soon as possible. Ultimately, though, the mayor said that the bulk of the help has got to come from customers weathering the burden of the added walk or the detours or the challenges of getting these businesses to still support them, because legally they cannot provide what he said, direct financial assistance to these businesses in the form of cash. That, he said, was the opinion of the city attorney, according to state law. So again, we are continuing to stand by for the Streetcar Impact Alliance to come out of that meeting and let us know what they believe, good or bad, has come out of this, and what progress may be made here in the not too distant future. Obviously, Business Owners Uniting have been extremely vocal about this challenge, because they are trying to keep their businesses afloat. And obviously, when you're talking about small businesses, especially restaurants, especially, the margins that they work with are so small that even minor disruptions can make things tight. And obviously, this is a major disruption for many businesses in the Blackstone-area here of Omaha. One we talked to at Long Dog Fat Cat Pet Store in Blackstone said that customers are telling her it's too difficult to reach her because of either what they're carrying or their animals. It's hard to navigate some of the detours that they have to navigate to reach her business. And it's a story that just repeats over and over with these businesses impacted by all of this construction. But again, that meeting got underway, I believe, at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. The mayor stepped out at 2:30 to address the media and to get to another event. But we are now about 90 minutes after that meeting was scheduled to start, and we have not seen the Streetcar Impact Alliance come out yet to let us know how they felt it went. Not sure if that means they're still speaking with city officials, if there's specific details that they're working out with the city of maybe some new options to help businesses. But we continue to stand by and await to hear their side of what has come out of this meeting here between the city and the Streetcar Impact Alliance. Again, one of the side notes from this meeting was this came after an incident yesterday involving the mayor and a car that was on fire. And we wanted to get more information from the mayor about what exactly happened. And this is what he had to say to us just about an hour ago. Take a look.
Yesterday morning, we were coming to the downtown office, and we saw a couple vehicles stopped in traffic. As we saw those vehicles stopped in traffic, myself and my security staff yesterday, Fred James, and I began to look around, and he saw that there was a vehicle on fire. So I told Fred to pull into the parking lot because we saw an individual that was trying to get back into the vehicle. We weren't sure if in fact there was someone in the vehicle. So we got out. I began to talk to that individual. Fred James then ran to Walgreens because it was in their parking lot to get a fire extinguisher. The gentleman was very upset and really wasn't clear. And so we talked to some of the other people who had stopped as well, who assured us that there was no one in the car, that he was just trying to get items out of the vehicle. We encouraged him to stay away from the vehicle. We finally were able to do that as fire personnel were arriving as well as law enforcement, and we kept him away from the vehicle. At that time, as fire arrived, we heard a small explosion. I don't know if that was like the airbag because of all the heat or if that was actually tires or what it was, but we just wanted to make sure he and any of the other people around that area were safe.
Again, that was Mayor Ewing just about an hour ago talking about an incident yesterday. We have more information on that, by the way, on our website right now, WOWT.com. Again, we are standing by for the Streetcar Impact Alliance to speak after a meeting with the mayor and city officials. That meeting may possibly still be going on right now, discussing possible ways of helping businesses that are trying to stay afloat amidst all of the streetcar construction in the Blackstone area of downtown. The mayor did speak with us before leaving that meeting about an hour ago, saying that they're trying to provide more affordable parking options in area garages, $1 a day rate for those garages. Also providing better construction updates, not only through a notification system, but also through mapping systems like Google Maps, Apple Maps, and Waze, among others, and that they have reprioritized the construction schedule so that the most impactful work has been accelerated. And he did want to stress the point that that work is also ahead of schedule. He didn't have any firm timeline on when that would be completed, but he did say that the most impactful work that is being done right now, they hope to see significant improvement in impacts later this spring. Of course, that is still roughly 2 months to go in spring. He also said that the city really has no legal option of providing direct financial assistance to businesses. However, they are committed to trying to find other ways of helping them, and stress that it really is unfortunately up to customers to shoulder the burden of these detours and these parking and walking changes to businesses in order to continue to support them and try and keep them afloat. But again, this meeting, we don't know if it's wrapped up yet with leaders of the Alliance and city officials, but it did start about 90 minutes ago, and we are still standing by to hear anything from the Alliance about what they feel good or bad has come out of this meeting. This is a live picture you see as we're standing by for them to come out and talk to us after the meeting. We do expect to hear from the chairperson of the Alliance, Clark Ross, and we may also hear from another member, Katie Mock, as well, about what they've heard in this meeting with the city and Mayor Ewing as well. So we're going to continue to stand by for this, and if we get any more updates on when it may happen, we will certainly let you know. But again, we'll leave the live picture up here as we are waiting for the Streetcar Impact Alliance to speak after their meeting with the city.
mean, this. I think I noticed that.
Nick White here at the Alert Center. We're breaking into our standby for that live coverage to bring you some breaking news just coming into the newsroom. We've just received an opinion from the Nebraska Supreme Court on the matter over the race for Douglas County Sheriff here in Omaha. We are just getting this in right now, and it appears that the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of Mark Martinez and his effort to appear on the ballot. This opinion just coming in, just reading the conclusion here. This, excuse me, from opinion was given by Supreme Court Justice William Castle, and this is the conclusion. Or excuse me, Nebraska Supreme Court. Thank you. The conclusion was, like the situation in a similar ballot qualification case, I address only the statutory qualification to be placed on the ballot, whether to support a candidate lacking an active certification status is for the electorate to decide. I emphasize that nothing in this opinion would preclude any other challenge to candidacy or eligibility to assume public office, nor should anything be taken to suggest that any other challenge is viable. I conclude that because Martinez possesses a law enforcement certification, he meets the qualification requirements to be a candidate for election as sheriff. Accordingly, I order that his name appear on the ballot as a candidate for the office of sheriff, subject to the operation of Nebraska statute. Again, this has been an ongoing issue. Mark Martinez is a candidate for Douglas County Sheriff. He is the Democratic challenger. But he was deemed ineligible to run last week because of a concern over his law enforcement certification. He's running against incumbent Sheriff Aaron Hansen. In a announcement late last week, I believe right around 5 o'clock Friday, the Douglas County Election Commissioner Danielle Jensen said Martinez didn't qualify to run for sheriff because he didn't have a law enforcement officer certificate or diploma issued by the Nebraska Commission on Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice as required by state law after an update in 2024. However, the Martinez campaign pointed out that his career in law enforcement includes decades of experience with the Omaha Police Department, followed by years with the U.S. Marshals Service. Now, the election commissioner Jensen said that she had consulted the office of the Douglas County Attorney and Nebraska Secretary of State before making her determination, but Martinez responded by appealing to the Nebraska Supreme Court, resulting in the ruling just issued a short time ago that he must appear on the ballot and that his law enforcement certificate does qualify and meet the requirements of that rule here in Nebraska. Now, Martinez received his certificate in November of 1984 and had served with the U.S. Marshal Office until 2018. Martinez provided First Alert 6 with a copy of that certificate saying that it did meet the state rules. The Douglas County Election Commissioner Danielle Jensen did not feel so because that it was not issued by the Nebraska Commission on Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice per an update. However, again, a member of the Nebraska Supreme Court has ruled in this appeal saying that Democratic challenger Mark Martinez can appear on the ballot for sheriff this November against incumbent Sheriff Aaron Hansen. So this is a development coming just days after that appeal was filed to the Nebraska Supreme Court after the decision by the election commissioner on Friday, late Friday. Now, this all started when his eligibility to run for county sheriff was called into question by the Douglas County Republican Party, who pointed out that Nebraska law requires candidates for sheriff to possess an active peace officer certificate. They claimed Martinez didn't have that and didn't have an active certificate since 2009, but his campaign said that the 2004 statute cited by the Election Commission doesn't specify that the law enforcement certificate must belong to an active law enforcement officer. So Martinez never did end his campaign. He is still actively campaigning, and they are now successful in this. I guess you could call it a summary judgment by the Nebraska Supreme Court, not before the entire court, but just an opinion issued by Justice William Castle after this case was filed just days ago after Friday's decision by the Douglas County Elections Commissioner. Again, the justice reading saying that this decision only pertains to the matter of the certification that he received from law enforcement. It has nothing to do with any other challenges to his candidacy. He says in his ruling, just pouring through it here, the language of the statute is plain. It does not distinguish between an active or inactive certificate. I decline to rely upon legislative history where a party urges me to detect ambiguity by initially resorting to legislative history. That places the cart before the horse. Because there is no statutory ambiguity, there is no reason to consider legislative history. Likewise, I see no reason to consult regulations establishing definitions and criteria for different statutes regarding law enforcement certification. Where a statute is unambiguous, a regulation plays no role in its interpretation. And then the justice concluded that Martinez does possess a law enforcement certification and he meets the qualification requirements of the statute to be a candidate for election as sheriff. He orders his name appear on the ballot as a candidate for the office of sheriff, subject to the operation of Nebraska law. So that is the breaking news into us at this hour, that Mark Martinez, Democrat candidate for Douglas County Sheriff, has been ordered to be put on the ballot this November after the Douglas County Election Commissioner announced Friday that they deemed he was ineligible because of a certification issue with his law enforcement certificate. Excuse me. So hopefully that all makes sense. A lot of legal opinion coming in that we're pouring through right now. We'll have a full report coming up later on First Alert 6 at 5 and also on our website, WOWT.com, shortly. Again, the reason we're on here live right now is we are standing by for a announcement, or at least a response, rather, I should say, from the Streetcar Impact Alliance, who is currently meeting with city officials about the ongoing struggles for dozens of businesses in the Blackstone district because of all of the construction for the streetcar project. A little over an hour ago, we heard from Mayor Ewing, who attended the first portion of this meeting before stepping out and addressing the media. And then we are now waiting for leaders of the Alliance to give their take on what they're getting out of this meeting. Presumably, if it's still going on, there could be some additional details from what the mayor provided, as that meeting has now gone on for another hour behind closed doors. So that is what we're standing by for, and we will continue to bring you this live picture, and we will pop back on as soon as we hear that the Alliance is ready to talk to us.
mean, I'm on that side, so I'm chilling. They'll probably run something from Ewing or something.
Oh, they're coming out shortly.
Oh, yep, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the elevator.
Play-by-play updates. Huh? It's not very stable. It was made for lights.
Don't worry about it.
Is that a good spot for everyone?
That should be fine. Cool. Probably all.
Cool.
How's that?
Sorry, I don't have very long arms.
Team Titans go. Panda, like right here? Or you?
Tyler, is he gonna be in your shop?
You might want to maybe. I would go more here. Just I'd bring it up a little, just so you're. There you go. Perfect. Because we're gonna all be about here. At least that's as far as mine can reach. You just throw it.
Whoa, Clark Ross.
How was the meeting?
Horrible.
Oh, no. Thank you. That's all I
Oh no!
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're there.
Technically, yeah, we're waiting for their.
We were leaving.
Back to like, oh, you guys are lucky. We have deadlines.
Hi guys. Good, how are you?
You're lucky that we're here.
Nick Weig here with you. It looks like we are the members of the Streetcar Impact Alliance have now come out to tell us how the meeting went from their point of view. Let's go ahead and listen in.
You guys just gonna
We're
hold?
gonna probably have you just stand in the center of all three of them.
Okay,
Just
something like
so
that?
we're- Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. Sure. Perfect. Thank you.
So work. He's gonna be honest with me.
I'm good. You guys?
Awesome. Why don't you just start? Tell us how this meeting went.
So Katie and I just got out of a meeting with the governor and his staff regarding the impact from the streetcar for residents and businesses along the corridor. While we didn't get all the answers that we want, we did find that the governor's office was more receptive than they had been in the past. They've committed to a 30-day plan to give us more comprehensive navigation by syncing up directly with Google Maps and Apple Maps. They've also committed to, within 30 days, having a validated parking program for employees, residents, and customers of the businesses as well. They are also actively launching, as of tomorrow, I believe, a text alert system so that for those of us who live and work in the corridor, we can receive real-time updates as to what we can expect to make navigation a little bit easier. Unfortunately, the mayor maintains that there is no money available for the small businesses, regardless of the price tag of the streetcar. So that forces our hand, and we must go find somebody who will be able to help us in that regard. So our next stop is going to be to talk to the governor, Governor Pillen, and see if we can get some state intervention to help keep these 100 businesses afloat during this construction.
Was there any consideration as far as maybe city council or any statutes that would allow money to go towards private businesses?
So the mayor is very adamant that it is unconstitutional for any money to be given to private businesses. He doesn't seem to be willing to listen to establishing grants through a pass-through for community foundations or nonprofits. It really didn't seem like that was something he was interested in discussing. So at this point, I am not counting on any financial support from the city.
And overall, that number one goal from the Streetcar Alliance from when that first meeting was to somehow develop a compensation plan with the mayor. I mean, how does it feel now that that's kind of fallen through the cracks?
It doesn't feel good, I'll tell you that. It's, the number one thing for us has to be to stay in business. So at the point that we're running right now with the sales drop, businesses are not going to be able to maintain their presence in the corridor. And so with all this other programming, it will unfortunately not be enough if we are gone by the time it gets implemented. So that's why we're going to maintain focus on trying to find funding for the businesses to keep us around until the streetcar is launched.
Go ahead.
You're asking the state for money, but there's a budget shortfall. Why would they give you money when they're already so short and cutting other programs?
Well, hopefully they'll see the value in keeping an entire corridor of the largest city in their state.
Like the parking program is one of the things that you guys, the Alliance, brought to the city as one of your initiatives, your requests
Yes.
for help. That, having one of them breaks, is that better than none of them?
Well, something's better than nothing for sure. And obviously parking is a huge issue for Omaha, particularly downtown, particularly with all the construction going on. So we are appreciative of any moves that they have made, especially considering that they did not seem very interested to help in the beginning. And the city expressed gratitude that, we kind of, we digested the entire corridor's feelings. We tried to bring all of the sentiments to them so that they could work a little bit more comprehensively. And I am actually a little convinced that they are interested in making sure that we survive.
They're doing this $1 parking at two different lots for employees and one for customers. You guys said that you wanted free parking. Is this satisfactory?
So I'm still waiting to see the actual details of the parking plan. What little was brought to me was $1, and $1 I think is better than $1 is better than nothing for sure.
Have you had a chance to see the packet at all that the mayor handed out about the parking plan?
Nope. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's handing that out like 45 minutes ago or an hour ago, something like that. Unfortunately, we were in a meeting with his staff for the last 2 hours. So.
Oh, here's this.
Oh, great, cool.
Take a look at that.
Well, I'm going to take a look at this. Unveils $1 parking downtown to small businesses visitors. Yeah, that's roughly what we said and what they told us. So again, we're going to chalk this up as a win for sure, because they did answer at least one of our requests. And they have also made mention that they are going to double their efforts to improve safety. That was another concern that we had with them, with walkways being blocked, debris everywhere, pedestrians being hit by cars, and so they detailed a couple ways that they're going to improve that, which means daily walks along the corridor, make sure there's less safety issues ideally, and they're going to again double their efforts on that, is what they told us.
What about street parking? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that. No.
Is that something you guys are still going to push for? Try to get that?
Well, we'll push for it, but right now our biggest concern is survival. So we're going to try and focus most of our energy on trying to track down funds from the state or wherever we can find it so that the businesses will survive.
Was it just yourself in the meeting? Were there other business owners there?
So there was myself and then Katie Mock, who owns Night Owl. She also owns Fizzy and Masaluna down on 13th Street. And we are both kind of represent opposite ends of the corridor, me being in downtown with Mercury and her being out in Blackstone with Night Owl. But we were both able to voice our concerns, and there's a lot of overlap between our experiences, honestly.
Have you relayed any of this information to other business owners yet? And how, I guess if you have, how have they received it?
I have walked out of that meeting about 30 seconds ago, so I haven't had a chance to tell anybody yet, but I look forward to putting together a letter for everybody and then having another meeting where I can kind of address concerns more comprehensively.
Do you think the city kind of lied to you guys when they wanted to put this streetcar
or they just didn't know what was underneath, you know, the streets and what needed to be fixed, depending on how long the construction process was going to take?
Based on what they say, it sounds like the utilities were kind of a can of worms when they opened things up, and that, you know, would double the budget and double the timeline, both of which are very frustrating, especially since there was no additional compensation for the additional disruption to all the residents and the businesses. I don't know that necessarily we were lied to. I think that the plan was hatched pretty quickly and then kind of foisted onto the current administration, which is, you know, I'll be honest, I'm sympathetic to that. He walked into a snake's nest with that. But right now we're just really trying to focus on answers. It doesn't matter where we were, because right now this is where we are, and we want to make sure that we're still here in the future.
What happens next?
What happens next? We are going to we're going to reach out to the governor's office and see if we can get to sit down with him very, very quickly, because again, time is of the essence. If we don't have money soon, then we're going to start seeing businesses close, and we're also going to see residents start to leave because they're just as unhappy living here as we are trying to do business here.
So you mentioned earlier that was representative from Governor Pillen's office in this meeting as well?
No, there was nobody from the governor's office was here. This was all the mayor's staff.
Okay, got it. 'Cause
Yep.
You mentioned something about the governor right when you were talking.
Oh, I was just basically saying we're not. If the city can't find us funds, then we'll find somebody who can.
But you mentioned something about talking with the governor.
Oh, we will be talking with the governor in the future. Not yet.
Anything we missed?
I don't think so, guys. Thanks for coming out. All right.
Thanks, Clark.
Appreciate it. You can hold on to that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Anything else you'll need? Anybody?
Good to see you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Okay, that is that. That was Clark Ross with the Streetcar Impact Alliance, basically saying that they do appreciate the situation that the current mayor is in. This is not something that he had set up, but he's disappointed that the mayor did not seem interested in trying to pursue other alternative routes of funding assistance, whether through grants or nonprofits. Mayor simply telling us about an hour and a half ago that legally there can be no direct funding through the city, but according to the Alliance, they said the mayor was not interested in considering any other maybe intermediary like a grants program or a nonprofit. So the Alliance says the next step is to the State House, and they are going to be trying to speak to Governor Pillen about any state assistance businesses in the project area can receive to keep them up and running while this construction continues. You saw our reporter Andrew Pfeiffer there handing him the packet on the parking plan that the city has proposed. Mr. Ross said that he hadn't had a chance to see it because he walked right out of the meeting to our cameras. So that meeting lasted about 2 hours by my clock, meeting with city officials to try and determine what, if anything, they can do. Again, the mayor stressing that they are ahead of schedule on this project. They're trying to prioritize matters that are most impactful and then moving on to less impactful things. They're also working on a validation parking program for customers and employees, a 30-day plan to improve the mapping systems, as well as text alerts on any changes to the construction. So a lot of efforts by the city. Unfortunately, the main need of these businesses is financial, and the city says that it can't directly contribute to those businesses, and the Alliance says the city, or the mayor at least, was not interested in trying to find another route through grant money or nonprofits. So the headline, I guess, of the afternoon is the Alliance is now going to the state, and they are going to request a meeting with Governor Pillen to see if there's anything at the state level that can be done to help these businesses as this streetcar project continues to move forward, but also while producing a lot of major traffic headaches and financial headaches for businesses in the Blackstone district. That is what we have learned after these news conferences, and we will continue to bring you the latest. Andrew Pfeiffer was there for everything, and he will have a full report for us coming up later tonight on First Alert 6. That does it for us for now. I do want to recap real quickly the breaking news that we did have at this hour, that a Supreme Court Justice has ruled in favor of Democratic candidate for Sheriff Mark Martinez after the Douglas County Election Commissioner ruled that he was ineligible for the ballot because he didn't have an active law enforcement certificate. The Justice says in a ruling that there is nothing in the statute that says it has to be an active certificate, and therefore he does qualify for the ballot, and ordered that Martinez be placed on the ballot for sheriff in November. That coming in just a short time ago from the Nebraska Supreme Court. So Mark Martinez, who worked with Omaha Police for many years and served with the U.S. Marshals for many years, a Nebraska Supreme Court decision says he can appear on the ballot this November in the race for Douglas County Sheriff. We will have much more on all these stories throughout the day here on First Alert 6, as well as on our website, WOWT.com. For now, I want to thank everyone for joining us, and until next time, I'm Nick Weig at the Alert Desk.